No matter what I do, I cannot impress women. Apart from one time, there was one time. Do you want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, cast your minds back to the year 2005. And I know. And I, through a combination of alcohol, pity, and pretending to be Jude Law's cousin, you play any card you have. Right. So I through this subterfuge, I've managed to secure not one, not two, but an unprecedented 3 consecutive dates with a tolerably attractive woman. Yeah. And she was great as well. She was like really dangerous and cool. And she was a burlesque dancer. Yeah. Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know what that is, I'll just explain. A burlesque dancer is essentially a stripper who went to public school. just so we know that. Anyway, obviously, I was really interested in taking this further. I was trying to find a way to turn this dating into a relationship. My mind. Don't know why. So yeah, and her birthday was coming up, which is a golden opportunity. So I couldn't afford to fuck it up. So I went right up to her and said, "Woman X, there are a couple of legal issues outstanding. Woman X, what do you want for your birthday?" She turned to me, fixed me with a stare, with her good eye. I said tolerably, come on. Fixed me with a stare and said, "I'll tell you what I want for my birthday. I want the greatest vibrator ever designed by human beings. I want something that gyrates, rotates, vibrates. Let me put it in perspective for you, Matt. I want something that's so powerful, but if I was hard pressed, I could use it as an emergency electric whisk. That's what I want for my birthday." At this point, I decided 2 things. 1, I was never going to touch any flange she made. 2, I was going to buy her the greatest vibrator ever, because god damn it, she deserved it. Unfortunately, part 2 involved going to a sex shop. By a show of hands, who's been to a sex shop? Okay, so we've got 4 people who've been to a sex shop, and 40 liars! Shame on you. So I'd never been to a sex shop before, and I was determined to look cool. I didn't want to look like some parochial idiot. But when I got in there, I was unprepared for the staggering array of vibrators there are. And as I looked up at them, stacked row upon row like gelatinous terracotta warriors staring down at me. Archaeology fans in, nice. I'll admit to being a bit intimidated. But I couldn't let it show, so I started diving right in, picking them up and saying things like, "Oh, interesting. You would not have thought of that." And then I found the perfect vibrator. I can't explain why it was perfect, but when you find yours, you just know. Okay. So I picked it up, and cool as anything, I walked across the shop and tossed it on the counter like it was a bounty. The girl behind the counter looked at it and said, "That's a pretty good model." I know. Will you be requiring gift wrap with that? Now, not wanting to break the cool facade, I of course said, "No thank you, I'll be fine." Unfortunately, what hadn't occurred to me at the time was that my refusal of gift wrap, coupled with my studied nonchalance, had heavily implied that this particular device was for me. Which put her next question in a context I wasn't aware of. As she picked it up, felt the heft of it in her hand, looked at me and said, "This is a pretty big unit. Will you be requiring lube?" And I, as if she had offered me biscotti with my latte, replied, "No thanks, should be fine." It's hard to describe the look on her face in words, but it was with a mixture of confusion, disgust, but no small measure of respect. But she slid the package across her desk to me and said, "Godspeed." And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most impressed a woman has ever been with me. I'll take it, evidently.